Hey, King.
What up?
What would a bear be without bees?
I don't know.
Ears.
Wow. Was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the King and Me show. I am one half King.
I'm me. I'm Michelle. Hey, y'all.
Wow. Okay, so that's how we start. All right, we can go with that. I will give a clap. I like a good dad joke, and
Like,
either if I like it, you'll get one or two reactions out of me.
okay.
You'll get a really, but that means I still like it.
Okay.
Or I'll actually do a chuckle. But I'm gonna say a former comedian because I used to do stand up comedy. Let me just throw that out there.
He's still funny, y'all.
Comics look at jokes differently, or they hear jokes differently. Like they'll hear it and go, "Oh, that's a good joke," So they'll still like it, but they'll react different. But we're here.
We're here.
It's Monday,
and
we live.
We live in these streets.
I like your dress. I don't know if I told you. I told you that you were pretty today, but I don't know if I told you that I liked your dress.
Thank you. Guess who picked it out for me?
Oh, Delaware trip.
Delaware trip.
Yeah.
So yes, King and his daughter Castle helped me choose this dress. So it's fitting that he loves it.
What's the King and Me show about?
In general, the King and Me show, we are a couple. We're together. And we come to you all weekly to show some positivity in dating and to give hope for those who are out there dating, especially if you're coming from hardship or difficulties in previous relationships. As you'll learn if you following along with us, King was once married for 14 years, and I have never been married. But we come together on these weekly streets just to give y'all some positivity, some hope, so that you can know that love can be out there waiting for you if you just dare, try. Go out in these streets and do some stuff and be positive about it.
Yep. So our setup's a little bit different today. Setup is a little bit different. We had a change in furniture situation,
a little bit,
but I like it. And Michelle set it up, so thank you, babe.
You're welcome, babe.
So what are we talking about today?
Tonight we are talking about, so if you ever notice that there's a theme to our titles. The first half of the title pertains to something that I've said or something that pertains to me, and then the second half pertains to King. So our title tonight is losing. Look, I gotta remember exactly what it said. Hold up. Oh, losing everything saved me, M.E. Michelle Early. And then for him, my L became my win. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. What it meant to lose everything. Like, what is that? What do I define as losing everything? And how that saved me. And then talk about, how your L became your win.
Okay. I'm with it.
Little W.
I'm with it. I'm all for it. So before we get into it, I'd like to thank y'all who are tuning in live. If there's a like button, which we're streaming on both Facebook and YouTube, do us a favor. Hit that like button, share the content, and comment. If there's something that we talk about or bring up, or if you have any questions, answer it. We value being hot with each other and with other people. Hot, shout out to the Real Precious, is honest,
Real Precious,
open, and transparent. And like she said earlier, our goal and value add to this live stream, it's kind of twofold. Yes, it is to show that the dating pool out there is not trash. Rochelle and I will have been officially dating almost a year in October.
I'm so proud of you. I'm not going to ask you on camera when, because...
Oh, the 20th. See? But...
Oh, look at you.
You helped me remember that.
We don't have to talk about
that. You helped me remember that. So, yes. So, with that being said, like I said, it's twofold. A is to show that, like the dating situations out there is not all trash. And then the second part of it is it's our way to communicate. Y'all are listening to us communicating. Our communication styles are different. We are not the same. in no way, shape, form, or fashion. And this is one of the ways that we can communicate, because a lot of the stuff that we bring on this show, we've talked about.
Yeah.
So about 90% of it isn't anything new between us, but there could be a 10% chance of something that's new and discovered that we can learn about each other. And at least from her to me, I don't shy away from that. I'd rather be as honest as I can, and hope that she receives it well, and try to give a space that she can be honest with me, knowing that the type of person that I am, I'll receive it, whether I'm a fan of what she brings or says or not. I just hope that she knows that she can be honest with me about whatever she's thinking about, even if, I might not like it. So
I'm going to be honest with you about something.
Ooh, already. Let's go.
I think I can sing.
Michelle, I do love you. I do love you. I don't think I would encourage you to sign up for a karaoke contest.
You're crying.
But I do love you.
I love karaoke.
I said I wouldn't encourage you to sign up, meaning that there would be expectations of you winning. You can sign up, and I will show up and support and be your biggest cheerleader.
You are awesome like that. Thank you, babe. Thank you.
But if I'm throwing probabilities,
look, I think I could take it. Don't count me out.
I like it. I like it. So, Michelle.
Yes, sir.
You're about to be living 37 years on this earth.
Oh, my birthday is next Sunday, y'all. Next Sunday, the 3rd. It was the 3rd of September. The day I always remember. Because that was the day that I was born. Yes.
All right. Grooming and Review said, I just want to say really fast, hey, and I need to get back to work. Hey, man, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in. Hey, Pete.
He sent me a text message today, and he's good. His phone came up green, so I was like, wait, he doesn't have an iPhone anymore? But apparently he just changed carriers, and I don't know. It then, I guess, needed to register that, oh, yeah, this dude has an iPhone, and it came back. Okay. So I appreciate him popping in. And Tarika had asked if we were still going live. I'm like, yes, we are.
Yes, we are, because we love these streets. We love being here. Hey, Tarika, how are you?
Hey, and she supports you too. She says, sing it, queen.
Thank you. She is my chick. Yes.
I'm telling you, the next time I go down south, I have to pop up on Tarika and say what's happening. That'll be a good time. Maybe if you come down south the same time that I go back down south, we could stop by and holler at Tarika.
Let's just go down south.
Now that you're back in school, I don't know when we can make that happen.
Y'all, so I'm a teacher. If you didn't know this, I'm a teacher. And it's this weird expectation after we finish one workday that we are supposed to come back the next day. Like, who made this?
I mean,
who made this plan?
Yeah. So that's the difficult part. Because for me, I can up and pop and go on one of my 3-day weekends, and it's not a resource drain. But for you, it's a little bit different.
For me, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
All my weekends are like booked out for the rest of 2023.
Kind of the same for me. Kind of the same. I was looking at, I might be going to Phoenix. I'll tell you about that later.
Really?
And like the first October, first October.
First October weekend? Yeah. Wait, first October of the year? How many Octobers are in the year?
First October Saturday weekend.
Okay.
That's how I meant to say it.
First October of the year. I'm like, wait a minute, how many we got this year?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's like, okay, so that's the weekend like after I get back, because the weekend before I'll be in the South.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll tell you more about it later.
I'm gonna be like, over on the couch.
She said, "We better." Absolutely, of course.
Of course.
So we've got the marketing out the way. I think our vocal cords are warmed up.
I think mine,
especially with your singing.
Look, don't hate on my talent, okay?
Let's start from the beginning. Why do you think that losing everything saved you? Well, let's talk about it.
So then let's first start by talking about what I lost, okay? So to know me is to know that, and I always start like that. I realize that.
You do.
That's weird. I I went through several losses in life. So because of what happened to me when I was younger, I kind of lost my childhood. I lost pretty much that junior high to end of high school time. It was all a big blur to me. And I know that most teenagers say that, but literally my mind kept blocking out things. I have a mental block from anything before I was 8 years old. And then from 8 to 18, my mind was just like, no, some of these things you just don't need to hold on to. So I feel like I lost that time. And then once I did become an adult, I I numbed my feelings for everything that I was doing with a combination of food or alcohol to be able to get past everything that I was doing, the scandalous life that I was leading, all of that. I numbed it. And then I continued to go down paths that were chosen by other people for me, what they thought was best for me. Like, oh, Michelle, you should do this. Oh, Michelle, you should do that. So I went and I would go and do all these things. And I feel like somewhere along the line, A, I lost myself, but B, there really did come a point where I lost my job. Like, there were 3 times in my adult career, in my adult life, that I was laid off or not working. The first time I was, what's that thing called? I was laid off. So the first time I was laid off, there was a time where I was fired, the last time I was fired. And then there was
Furloughed?
no, not furloughed, but essentially, let's just go with laid off.
Okay.
They laid off. And then there was a time in between where I was a temporary employee and my position was based on a grant and they didn't get the grant. Like they had
Okay.
hired me thinking they were going to get the grant and then found out like 3 months later that they didn't get the grant. So
Yeah.
technically I was like let go.
I know how that works.
So I lost everything financially. My health deteriorated somewhere in between all of those times. I was in a car accident that caused me to not be able to go to work for a period of time. Financially, I lost it. Mentally, I lost it. Spiritually, I was lost.
How close of a time period was all of this? Like, give us a rough reference time frame. Are you saying after graduation to what time?
We're talking about 2012 to 2017.
Okay.
So I moved to the county where we're in now. I moved here in 2000. This is 13. I moved here in 2011 and I moved here for a job. And I was at that job from 2011 until September 2012.
So late 20s to early 30s for you.
Essentially, yeah. And by early 30s, I mean like 30. 30. So I was at that job and they let me go. And I guess my boss was trying to get in touch with me to not do it over the phone, but he didn't get in touch with me in person. So I ended up getting laid off over the phone and finding out that I had to pack up like my office and everything over the phone. And I had just been rear-ended. Yes. I had just been rear-ended. Like I got laid off. I think it was September the 18th, 2012. Don't ask me how I know this date.
You and dates.
I know.
Good night. When was the first time I blinked more than 5 times in your face?
The first day you saw me, you fell madly in love.
How about that? Continue. I'm sorry.
You're good. But no, I think it was September the 18th, 2012. And I had just been rear-ended and was having really bad back pain. I was rear-ended like a couple days before that, like September 12th of that year. And it had impacted my ability to work. And then I ended up, getting laid off. And I was hot. Like I was young. So this was 11 years ago. I was 26 years old. I was upset. Like I was really, really upset. And I was hot tempered. And, I turned to alcohol, all of my vices to kind of get past that. And the only thing that held me together was I was in school for my first master's degree during that time. So that's, first of all, that's where them student loans come from because I had taken out student loans and then the extra income that I had was the leftover from the loans because I wasn't working and I was applying for jobs, but I had a pin shot for nonprofit work. I loved doing nonprofit work. And I was just striking out. So I basically spent almost a year unemployed, and it was okay because I was in school and I felt like I was doing something with my time. But that was the first time I lost my job. And losing that, it's funny, I was at the bottom, but I didn't live like I was. Like I was still going home to Baltimore, not every weekend, but frequently. And I was still drinking and I was still partying. I was still hanging out. And aside from the fact that I had an abundance of time while everyone else was at work, you couldn't really tell that I was unemployed because I was out there just doing what I wanted to do, having the fun that I wanted to have because I was 25. I wasn't married. This is what you can do. You can just hang out and not think about the future. In hindsight, that's one of the most ridiculous things that I ever could have done for so many reasons. But hindsight is 2020.
Hindsight is 2020. Middle 20-year-olds that might be listening, pay
Yes,
attention.
please. Okay, so again, this is we talk about dating, we talk about all this stuff. So when this happened to me, I was like 26 because it happened after my birthday. So I was 26 years old and I was single. I wasn't working, but I also wasn't the type of person who's like, oh, I'm gonna go sit at the bar and this man is gonna buy me a drink and all that type of stuff. That wasn't me. The other flip side to it is
How did you afford all this hanging out and doing stuff then?
so that's the thing. So I was going down to Baltimore. I was going down to the power plant. And the power plant, you could host these happy hours. And when you hosted the happy hours, you as the host, like A, you got discounted drinks for a period of time. And B, sometimes you could get free drinks. So I hosted these happy hours and then I was able to drink for a good price. Plus, I was a smart drinker back then. I drank things that would immediately give me a buzz. I didn't get them little girly drinks that like you drink two of them and you may feel a little bit of a buzz. And this was before I drank wine. I was a vodka and cranberry, heavy on the vodka, light on the cranberry, or I drank Long Island iced teas, or I drank Blue Motorcycles. Blue Motorcycles, Long Island iced teas have a heavy alcohol intake. So you may pay a little bit for that. Like back then it was probably like you pay $11 for that drink or whatever.
But after two, you straight.
Exactly. Like you done. You good, you're lit. And because I was hosting the happy hour, you know, my friends who did have jobs, they would get drinks and I just like go and take a sip because this was before COVID. So you could just like go up and be like, hey yo, let me get a swig of that real quick and just take a drink. But this is what I was doing. I was hanging out and I was finishing my master's degree. All of this at the same time. Again, thinking that I had time. I kept thinking, I have time, I have time, I have time. I'm 26. You know, okay, yes, I wanted to be married and have kids by 25, but I'm 26. I still got time. You know, stuff can happen. So that was after the first layoff. And then I went back, started working again and, you know, started to change physically. And I was feeling myself. Like I was I was smelling myself.
Don't gloss over that. Say what you mean by changing physically.
So when I was younger, because I turned to food and alcohol for everything, I was overweight. Like I was clinically and I guess by medical standards, I was morbidly obese because there's a certain percentage that qualifies you to be morbidly obese. I was obese. And I started losing weight in 2011 and by 2012, oh, thank you for bringing that back up. By 2012, I had lost over 100 pounds. So I was feeling myself. Like I was getting attention from guys in a way that I hadn't gotten before. And I was really feeling myself, but still not myself. Like I was starting, I guess not feeling myself, but starting to smell myself. And I enjoyed the attention that I was getting, but I had no clue what to do with it. I had no clue how to harness that attention into something that could actually be meaningful because I was young and I wanted to party and like I felt like I needed to party. Look, y'all. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Please do not blow your 20s partying and thinking that by the time you get in your 30s, that'll be the time that you can settle down and that the dating pool is still going to be kind to you. I'm trying to tell you from lived experience that it will not be kind to you. The dating pool will not be kind to you if you wait and blow off the prime years of your life. You know why? Because while you were out there drinking and partying, some guy was wifing up the woman who decided to stay her black behind in the home. So just throwing that out there for you real quick.
Okay. What was your catalyst for losing the weight?
Honestly, so I am the type of person where you can never tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do because I'm gonna go off and I'm gonna do the exact opposite, even if it's to my detriment. And I had to this job that I had in Baltimore before I moved here. Um, I had to get a physical, and the doctor was like, "You're morbidly obese," and I was in my head because that was back when I cursed you. I was like, "Your mother," like, but I didn't say that out loud. I just thought of like, "Your mother morbidly obese," whatever. Like, how dare you say that to me? You don't know who I am. Like, how dare you? But then I low key was like, but he might be right though. So I started like losing the weight then, and it was for me. Every time I've ever lost weight, it was for me. Each time got progressively harder, but it was always for me.
Pause for a second. Sarah Smith.
Hey.
If you can see that I'm live, why would you call me while I'm live?
Because she wanted to talk to us. Maybe she wanted to be on the air. Where's she at?
You know what?
I ain't got no glasses on. I can't see.
One of these days, I'm going to have it set up to where somebody can do that.
Yes, because I would love to talk to Sarah. Hey, sis.
But anyway, I wanted to bring that up. And so Tarika said she wants to get married. And before we go on, Tarika, I have a question for you. What are you doing to find a husband? We were having a conversation earlier today, and somebody said half of the dating pool is trash.
And the other half is a shallow pit of cesspool.
I didn't see that part. But we were having a conversation, and I didn't finish this part, but one of my thoughts were being intentional about what it is that you do. So that was kind of what I want to say as well. I was curious, what is that person doing to be intentional about seeking or discovering or finding what it is that they're looking for? Because my 2 cents is this, especially if you're somebody who wants to be married, you A, have to find somebody else that is on that same path. Mm-hmm. And B, what are you doing to find what it is that you're seeking? And I'm choosing my words very carefully because my standpoint is this. Like, I'm not one to down anything, whether it's like, because I know some people that have successful poly relationships where they're married, yet they have significant others, but that's what works for them. They communicate about it. They talked about it. That's what works for them in their marriage. Now, if taking that away, if you're somebody that's seeking a monogamous relationship and you're looking for somebody that also is seeking and want a monogamous relationship, my question, men and women, what are you doing to be ready for that? So
that's a good question.
Tarika, let's see. She says, honestly, nothing. Hey, I love the honesty.
I love the honesty. Yeah.
I love the honesty. And what did Sarah say right here? She said, hey, all right. She said, hey. So, hey, Tarika, I love that honesty because, man, can we get into it? Where we at for time? We can't get into it.
You said can't or can?
Can.
Okay.
Just for a little bit. Time is one of those things that as I'm getting older, I'm realizing the value of it, right? Mm-hmm. So speaking specifically to Tarika and really anybody out there, Michelle talked about how she was halfway serious in her 20s and halfway partying.
No, I was serious about partying.
Okay, so she was serious.
I was serious about
partying. And I'm curious, so we have these spaces where people like us come on and we're sharing our lives in hopes that maybe, just maybe, we can bring value and a different perspective and thought to somebody else. But also at the same time, like, I'm curious, who are the people growing up in, like, you don't have to answer this now, but just a thought. Who are your mentors and people that were helping you and guiding you in your 20s? To Tarika, it's like the same thing. Who are you around? Your mentors, people that you can look up to, that can, kind of help guide you as you're going through your 20s. Because look, if you want to party and do all of this stuff, have at it. Understand that because of how time works, as you get older, priorities may shift, and your your competition, I'm just going to say this as clean as I can, your competition increases the older that you get as a lady.
Because for us, the way it boils down is that men will date younger. Established men will date younger, but it's very rare for an established woman to date younger. So basically, an established man can be somewhere like in his like 35 or whatever, right? And he will date down to somewhere sometimes in like the 25 to 32-ish, 35 range.
A 40-year-old?
No, a 35-year-old man.
35-year-old man?
Yeah. What's
Hey.
his dating window?
Oh, he 20.
Exactly. So that makes it even worse. So if you are a 30-year-old woman who partied your whole 20s, look, you're not about to get that like 35-year-old man who's established, because he wants that younger woman who hasn't gone through that whole partying scene, someone who's kind of like a virgin to that and more amenable to being what he needs her to being that wife. And then I am going to go back to the Bible. The Bible says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing, not he who finds a woman clubbing, not he who finds a woman just like sitting out or whatever, but he who finds a wife, which means that woman is already in the attitude of a wife. She's already in the demeanor of a wife. She's already in the lifestyle of a wife. And I'm not saying that she's showing up cooking and cleaning for everyone, but to say that she's already humbled herself and put herself back so that she and set herself up in a position so that she can be ready for her husband when he comes. She's already in her mind submitted herself to the idea of submission and being someone's wife. And because she is there, that man is going to find her and he is going to claim her and make her his wife. He who finds a wife, not he who finds a woman and makes her a wife. Not he who finds some hood rat and makes her a wife. Not he who finds some 304 and makes her a wife, but he who finds a wife. So we got to remember that part too. And the life I was living in my 20s was nothing about no wife lifestyle, even though that's what I thought I wanted at that particular time, or thought that
it's such an oxymoron, though. Like, how could you not see that?
Because I didn't have anyone around. It's just what you were saying. I didn't have anyone around me telling me that this is what a wife is supposed to be. Because I'll be really honest, my mom was a single mother, and her biggest focus for me was always my education. Always. So she never prepared me to be a wife. She never prepared me to be a mother. To be perfectly honest, and I love you, Chickie, she never prepared me to like really take care of myself. She always prepared me to be a student. And you know what? I am a lifelong learner. She did a really good job with that. I absolutely love going to school. Look, I'm trying to find another way to get another degree. I love learning, but that is what she prepared me for. She didn't prepare me to be a wife or anything like that. And my godmother, I love my godmother. When we were younger, when my best friend and I were younger, I don't think that anyone was preparing us to be a wife. And I think that was a generational shift where people just weren't teaching young girls that anymore here. People aren't teaching young girls that here. We're teaching them how to be independent and everything like that.
Tarika said, if you walk in the spirit of girlfriends, boys will play with you. If you walk in the spirit of wife, a man will find you.
That part. That entire part right there.
Okay. What turned things around for you?
The biggest thing that turned things around for me, I went, like, people say you hit rock bottom. I hit below rock bottom. I had lost all that weight. and then gained it all back from depression and the medication that I was on. I was in a relationship with someone who truly loves me, but I felt like I was hindering him. And there was nothing that was really going to get my mind out of that.
That's interesting. Pause. Did was the relationship, was it working for you?
He's a great man. You know me, I don't talk bad about my exes. I believe that he was a great man and he was trying his hardest, but I felt like I was draining him because I had stuff going on within me, and I felt like I was just draining him.
Okay.
And then, so we broke up.
When y'all broke up, let me ask this as clear as possible. When y'all broke up, was it a conversation? Was it a mutual understanding?
We broke up via text message. He broke up with me via text.
He broke up with you
via text message.
Was it done before he made the decision? Like, you know what, this just ain't working.
No, like, I pissed him off.
Intentional, or what? How do I say this? The reason why I'm asking is because a lot of times what I've observed is the relationship is done well before it actually ends, and one person doesn't really intentionally try to piss the other person off. But I'm asking, like, could you have seen where if you would have known about it yourself and was a little bit more, I'm just going to say mature,
mentally aware,
would you? Okay.
I don't think we would have ended if I had been in a better mental place. I wasn't. And I'm not using that as an excuse.
Okay.
But I will say that for a good portion of our relationship, I wasn't in a good mental space. And it just, when it went south, it went south. And it went south fast. And I don't think I was setting him up like, ooh, the relationship is ending, but I'm going to do something so that he breaks up with me. No, like he wanted to come back, but I felt like he was better off without me.
Whoa. Pause.
What?
Had you improved at this point?
When he wanted me back?
Yeah.
I mean, I was off that particular medicine at that particular time.
I'm curious, because if the guy wasn't bad and you felt as though it was your side of the house that was hindering things, why not try again?
Low key, so I kind of always lived by that mentality that I didn't, like, if something ended, it ended. And
that's me all the way.
Exactly. That's so there was on the one side, I didn't want to do that. And then on the flip side, I'm like, I don't want to hurt you. And I don't know if, like, I felt like it was me. Like, I always felt like it was me. I was the issue in the relationship.
Okay.
He's still a good man. He's a really good man. Like, we've talked about him before. He's a good man.
Is that the one who I?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Solid dude. Hey, quick side note: if this is your first time watching our show, I have talked to one of her exes, and we had a good conversation
that they won't tell me about. Neither one of them will tell me what they talked about.
Yep. And on my side, it is archived, it is secreted, it is locked in up vaults, and that is between him and I. But it was a really good conversation, and something that I've always said is I think it would be dope in our society if you could have a conversation with somebody's ex if you were choosing to be out there dating, and I'm just gonna say vetting, because essentially it is what you're doing. Like, look, I'm gonna talk about relationships from kind of.
I'm gonna send him this link right now and see if he'll watch.
From kind of like a business standpoint, is that when you're, looking at somebody, you're vetting them, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna be straight up. I am vetting Michelle because from my side of the house,
my hair so you can see.
I have, my time and my resources are very important to me, and I work hard for what I have and what I'm trying to get. And if I'm going to choose to allow somebody to come into my space, then vetting's important. It is absolutely important. And I don't think enough people do that, because what they do is they see somebody with a nice behind and, cleavage and a gorgeous smile, and then go, ooh, and they're thinking with the wrong head, and then end up losing a lot of resources or losing a lot of time when it doesn't work out because they just didn't vet the person properly.
So I like how you said that, and you were talking about losing. What else have you taken in life?
Ooh, so now let's transition to me. But before we do, let's take a look because I saw some new comments here. Sarah said just badger him about it. No, 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 no. And she followed that up with LMAO. That got me to laugh. That's what's up.
I love you, Sarah.
And we got a lot of Smiths that are not related to me that are tuning in.
Y'all all cousins in some way. You just don't know it.
We just don't know it. Yeah, absolutely. So what else have I taken in life? Well, hey, I've had a failed marriage. Let's just call a spade a spade. I was married for 14 years, and as a guy, or I think as a person in general, you don't just get into a marriage thinking we're gonna make this work until it work and then divorce. No, I thought it was gonna go the distance, and for several reasons, which I can name a few. Um, I got married young. As y'all have heard me say, I'm an advocate for don't get married in your 20s. Yes, you're an adult. Yes, you can serve your country. Yes, you can lose your life wearing the flag on your shoulder or your chest. But I don't think you know who you are in your 20s. B, there were several things that, in my opinion, I don't believe that I understood myself as a man at that time period either. And if you're in a marriage as a man and you don't know yourself fully, then I believe that you can lose the trust of your wife. Mm-hmm. And at some point, I think that that's what happened with me. Like, I can't speak for her, but my post-marriage analysis of it all, my PMA, I'm going to trademark that. Yeah, my PMA of it all was, I think I lost her trust, or she lost her trust and faith in me, because I got to a point to where I was depressed about things. I started then doing actions in that depression similar to what you had talked about, and I didn't get the help that I needed, and it ended the marriage. Coming out of the marriage, going more into what L's I've taken, my finances were jacked. And it was my own doing. Nobody else's excuse or fault but mine. My ex-wife is great with money. She is fantastic with money. I was making good money and just blowing it because I was trying to buy my happiness. I was trying to buy things that I thought would get me out of this funk, and nothing ever did. So when I started to come out of the divorce, paying off debt or having debt, having, money come out for other expenses and liabilities, I started to wonder, A, where am I going to stay? Mm-hmm. B, how am I going to pay for things? Do I file for bankruptcy? Like, is that something that can help me out? And as I started to figure things out, that stress, if you're not somebody that's strong and solid, it can get to you. Once I finally started understanding myself, understanding my life, getting things figured out, the weight and stress of everything, it melted, it went away, and I started to get focused. So some specific L's. At one point in my search for trying to find a place to stay, because I didn't have a lot of money, I reached out to one particular person who was advertising a couch to sleep on. That turned into I'm not even going to call it a friendship, because we met once or twice and I didn't get a good vibe from this lady after meeting with her. That then caused me to have to go to the cops to figure out, after she threatened me, because she wanted more than just a friendship, but like I was dating at the time or just out in the streets per se. And when I didn't give her what she wanted, she was confused by that. Caused me to have to change a number that I'd had since I got back from Japan, after this lady called me 100 times in under an hour. And I have witnesses to that because I was around several of my friends when that had occurred. At one point, I had to pull over on the side. I can tell you the date. It was July the 3rd.
Oh, look at you remembering days. Okay.
Because I was traveling over the holidays, and somehow, some way, this lady was calling me from 12 different numbers. Or that was the 12th number in that day. Every time I blocked the number, I would get a call from another unknown number, and it just became too much. I made a joke about telling people that, hey, if I showed up missing or on a milk carton, I gave people her name and number and her address, because thankfully I knew where she lived, but she didn't know where I lived.
Okay.
So that was one, L that I kind of took, kind of getting myself back out there, not really having a solid place to stay. Because one of my other factors are, oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna have to afford a place that I can also bring my daughter at. So now I'm thinking, okay, if I can only afford to rent a couch for a couple of months until I get my finances in order, then on the times that I have my daughter, what am I gonna do? Rent a hotel room on the weekend? Like, this is what I was thinking about at that time, because of my arrangement that I had with my ex-wife. And man, it's so funny laughing at, like, I can laugh at this stuff now, but living it, and at the time, it wasn't the business. One saving grace that helped me out was a good friend of mine and his wife allowed me to live with them for about a year, and I was paying rent there. One time I got behind, and the wife was like, "Hey, you know, you could be doing this, you could be doing that. Like, you shouldn't be late with the rent." And something about her saying that, it lit a fire. So that was, like I said, about a year after my divorce. If you've been following this channel, I said it took me about 2 years after my divorce to really get my footing right. So once this person said that to me, which there's a joke now, because I say I'm going to name my boat Spirit of,
That
and
person,
after
yeah.
this person, because now it's one of the things that I tell people, hey, like, if you have time, there's no excuse. You can get out there, hustle, grind, make the money, all that jazz. And it took me kind of being down to kind of see that and realize that. So I ended up having that L. When I did move from their place, because they had some other things going on that I wasn't able to just stay with them. And I'm thankful for that year that they had allowed me to live with them. I ended up moving to a house that was probably built in the 1800s. I didn't have central heating there. It had a pellet stove. How many of y'all have ever seen a pellet stove in real life?
I have not. I don't know what that is.
It had a pellet stove. So for there, I ended up moving into this place the month that COVID happened. So I signed my lease, moved in March 2020. The world shut down March 15, 2020.
I remember.
I was moving in with a guy, and I'll say his name, cool ass dude, Ray. Ray, if you're watching, what up? Ray and I are friends to this day, but he was going through a divorce at the same time. Older white guy. We became super cool. We also had a bonding experience because COVID shut down. Our landlord, also, who had other properties actually, was also staying at the property with us. And this lady was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. For about 10 days, she was straight. On day number 11, her true self came through. So I did a 6-month lease with this lady. And again, because of my arrangement with my kid's mom, I was also having to have my daughter on the weekends and stuff as well. The part that this is let me woosah myself for a second. Namaste. About 2 or 3 months in, I told my kid's mom, I said, hey, I don't think because of the living situation, I didn't want my daughter there at that property. Mm-hmm. And B, that lady was just nutso. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want my daughter around that. And let me think about this for a second. because I don't want it to seem like, you know what? Yeah, say it. Whatever. It happened. And instead of taking my recommendation on trying to have an alternative solution until I can get really solid, my kid's mom, like, she, I would say bashed me, but just didn't listen. Just didn't listen. And that also, I don't know, it felt like a kick in the nuts for somebody that was trying to make things work out. Not trying to shirk my responsibility, because I've never been a person that has shirked my responsibility. But it's like, hey, this is what's happening. And it was one of those times, because what people don't know is I have a speech impediment. It may not be obvious, but I grew up having speech therapy. I stutter. Sometimes how things are in my head, I don't get it out through my mouth right. So when I do communicate something really clear, and I provide like a semi band-aid solution as well, in my head, the only thing that other person should be is like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That is a logical thought. It makes sense. It's a temporary thing. Okay. So when I get pushback, I don't know what to do. I kind of freeze for a second, because I'm like, did you not hear everything that I just laid out? Like, why are you fighting me on this? So that caused a little bit of static on my side. That then also, as I'm like trying to navigate this L of living in a place that I will never be like this. If I ever get to a point to where I'm having to look for a place like that ever in my life again, something really tragic happened that got me there. Because what that did, and how we are calling this, turning my L
It's
to.
not that. I thought I saw something on my head.
No, I was looking. I just wanted to make sure I was saying the title right. Turning my L to a win was that caused me to then go, okay, I don't want to live like this ever again. Mm-hmm. So let me get my finances in order. Let me start busting my behind, get as many raises as I can. When I'm coming off my normal 9 to 5, getting into Uber, and just laser focusing on getting out of debt so that I will never be in this position again. And I did. I had to take myself off the dating market, because something that I recommend doing too is, if you don't know who you are, and I'm gonna say this as a guy, speaking to other guys on this one, and you broke, don't be out here broke dating, because I was certainly doing that too. I was broke dating, and that's something that I don't really recommend as well. Like, why are you putting time, energy, money, and resources into somebody else when you don't have your own ish together? So it took a combination of all of that, getting through the depression, going through therapy, and getting things figured out. I lost some friends along the way too. People that I thought were friends, folks that, I thought had my back, that, like, not that I was reaching out to them for anything, but in one particular time I was telling somebody, or I mentioned in like a group text, and this one individual was like basically saying, quit being a crybaby. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not being a cry. I'm telling you what occurred, what has happened, and also what I am, doing about it. I'm sharing this with this, group text. And when that, happened or whatnot, like, it caused me to go, hey, you know what? So somebody who I once had considered a friend, we aren't, friends anymore, because I wasn't expecting sympathy from anybody. Mm-hmm. So when he said that, it was like, I was like, who am I crying to? Like, I could lie and say, hey, everything's great. I'm living. Yay. You know what I'm saying? So I consider that an L turned into a win as well, because it was one of the things that helped me realize that when there's people that don't have your back, people that aren't in your corner, or people that will be quick to tear you down for no reason at all, you don't really need to have those people around. So I'm quick to recognize that and see it now, and just cut you off in a heartbeat. Whether you're family or a friend, it don't matter to me. If I consider you an anchor, I don't even debate about dropping you. I just drop you.
So, what I hear in what you're saying is that, although our stories are very different because, we're two totally different people, we both encountered a lot of losses that set us up to bounce back stronger than ever and come to a place where we can A, recognize the wins that we do have, and B, allow us to truly step forward in dating. I know for you, dating wasn't something that you were looking for. Like after you came out of your your time where you were living with Crazy Lady, you weren't like, you may have dated for a little bit, but you weren't necessarily like, I'm getting married again. I'm going to do all of this other stuff
Correct.
again. Whereas for me, I always had a mind to do that. Like that was something that I desired because I had never been down the aisle. It wasn't something that I'd done before. It was something that I wanted to be. But we both had to heal. We had to get to a place. So for those of you who are listening, one thing that I want you all to take away from our conversation tonight is that you cannot, and we've said this so many times before, you cannot be in a relationship or expect to be in a relationship with someone if you were still sitting in that place of loss, or if you're still sitting in
thrive.
that L, or you're still sitting in that place of brokenness, because like you said, it won't thrive. And when I say losing everything saved me, it was when I hit my rock bottom that I realized I couldn't be there anymore. I didn't want to be there anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
So it pushes you to go harder, to do more. People look at me now and they're like, Michelle, like you do so much. Yeah, well, you don't understand. There was a time period when I couldn't do anything. When depression had me so bound, so tightly wound up, where thoughts of turning off my own TV were like the only solution that I had. It was the only thing that made me feel like somewhat of relief. So for me now, I'm just like, look, as long as my body can physically do it, which there are some things I'm just like, I got to physically say no to. As long as my body can physically do it, I'm like, I'm going to do it because I knew that there was a time where I couldn't. I know that I'm going to try to give back and give my all because I know of a time where I couldn't do all of that. It saved me all of those years. It saved me because I see that and I'm like, I never want to go back there again by any means necessary. I don't want to be in a relationship that seems all well and good, but I'm hiding a part of who I am to be in this relationship, or I'm putting on a smile or anything like that just to kind of be like a facade or something. I don't want that ever again. I've been there and I've done that. And again, he was a really, really great man, but I feel like I was hurting him in doing that. When you are not healed and we've said this so many times, when you're not healed and you get in a relationship, you're just going to hurt yourself and the other person.
Yep. Yeah, there's going to be something that happens, and I liken it to take this ball that's in water and slowly it's going to sink. And if you're not healed, you're just adding stuff on top of that ball that it won't have the ability to stay up. It's just going to keep going down and going down until somebody metaphorically drowns.
Yeah.
So, and there's one other thing that I do want to add too is there were several people throughout that huge solace for me, and it's one of the things that I'm like, I'll be grateful to these people. The family that allowed me to rent out their lower level for a year, huge shout out to them. The person who I'm renting from now came through, and this was me trying to look for a place after my lease in it. The other guy who I was telling about, he moved, he broke his lease. He said, I can't do this. This lady is crazy, and I'm not about to end up on the first 48. And he dipped out. For me, I couldn't afford to, but the person who I'm renting from now did me a huge solid. So it wasn't like I did it by myself, but I took the steps to really get things turned around. And I know the work that it takes to get there. And just like Michelle said, once you hit rock bottom, you get to a point to where it's like, okay, I know what that felt like. Not
Never
doing
go
that
back.
again.
Yeah, never.
Not going back to that again. So I think this episode kind of serves 2 points. Is to show that, two people can have things occur throughout their lives, live their lives independently, and still come together and have what I think, and I can't speak for you, is a healthy relationship. And then B, if you really listen to both her story and mine, you might be going through something as well, and you can see that, hey, if you do the work, then being at the bottom, you won't be there for long, but you do have to do the work on yourself. You have to have the desire. And I'm just going to tell you, it's not going to be easy.
Started from the bottom.
Now we here.
Started from the bottom now.
King and Smith is here.
King and Smith.
King and me is here. Michelle. So we're at time.
I know we are. Okay, but I really want to drive this home, ladies. This is not coming from a place of judgment, condemnation, or anything like that. But real talk, if you are seeking a healthy relationship, you have to be healthy. And I'm saying this specifically to women because I know that we will go out, we saw Wonder Woman and we're just like, that's me. I am Diana Prince. I can do and be everything. It's not that I don't need a man. I want a man, but I need him to be able to catch up with me. That is not how it's supposed to be.
If you think like that, good luck.
Please slow down and let a man woo you. Let him care for you. Let him be who God intended for him to be. Like, ease up on the partying, ease up on all of that, so that man that God has for you can come like straight to you. We have to be the change agents because we were the change agents to get us to where we are now. So we got to be the change agents to get us back to like that old time living. Because I like being catered to. It's my birthday weekend, so I know I'm going to be catered to.
By who? I'm asking for real. I don't think I cater to you.
I think you do.
Do I?
Yeah.
Hey, great. I don't think I do. I understand the stuff that you desire and the things that you like, and
you make sure it happens.
If it's within my ability, I try, but I don't think I cater to you. I don't know.
Okay,
what maybe, is cater to somebody?
Maybe cater to is a bad term, but I will say that there is nothing that I ask for that you do not attempt to give. It could have a lot to do with the fact that I don't ask for a lot.
Me neither.
And that what I do ask for is somewhat reasonable. Not truly impossible.
Look, I ain't trying to talk myself out of something at all. That's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. It's just in my, I don't know, like I don't know if I cater to you, but like I said, I try to understand the things that you desire. You communicate with me the things that you would like, and to the best of my ability, I try and do it, and if I can't, I'll tell you, hey, I ain't gonna be able to do that.
What do I want for my birthday?
Quality time.
See, that's the only thing I want. Like, that's always me. That is the thing that I always want more than anything. I don't care about big shiny gifts. In fact, don't buy them for me. That's not me as a person. The only thing
I have something for you, but it's something that it's something that we've talked about.
Oh, okay.
So
oh, that's sweet.
I do have something for you. More than quality time.
Oh, okay.
So you are gonna get it. Ain't gonna be rap. I don't rap stuff. So
you lucky you ain't get your stuff. To know me is to know that you finna get your stuff in the Walmart bag it came in, or the Amazon bag
the Amazon box it was delivered in.
Look, we ain't going fancy. I ain't even putting a bow on it. Why? Why try to class up something that was from Amazon? We all know it's from Amazon.
Ellie gave you a happy birthday.
Thank you, Ellie. Excited.
So you gave some advice for the ladies. I want to close by giving some advice for the guys. Guys, work on yourself. Don't be out here chasing. Don't be feeling like lonely or feeling like I need to have a lady around me to validate myself. No. Focus on yourself. Focus on bringing your value up for yourself. And I'm telling you, when you work on focusing on yourself and increasing your value, you'll attract higher quality people in your life. And however you choose to then allow that person or people into your life, you'll be a lot better off for it. So that's my advice.
That was some good advice. That's sound.
Yeah,
I like it.
I think so. All right, y'all. This has been a really good episode. It was one that we create our titles.
Yeah.
We have an idea, but this is unscripted. It's us communicating, having a conversation, and sharing it with everybody else out there. So we'll be back next Monday. We were kind of.
I'll be a year older. Okay, so
we had some.
This is your last time looking at a 36-year-old Michelle. Next time you see me, I'll be 37. Still gorgeous.
Hey, when I turned 37, what happened? Wait, how old am I now? 39. So this was 2 years ago. So you're talking August of
21.
20. Oh yeah, we won't talk about that. All right, y'all. This is another episode of the King and Me Show. Time is up. We are out. We have to end the show.
Y'all want to know what happened in August 21? I want to know what happened.
We have to end the show.
Are they saying they want to know what happened in August 21?
I love you. Your braids are awesome.
My braids.
Your locks. You know.
I want to know what happened.
Bye, y'all.
It
don't matter what it said.
It does.
Bye,
matter.
Y'all.
Bye, y'all.